how to deal with negative people. My name is Ed JC Smith. A pleasure to connect with you. In this video, you're going to learn 3 simple ways to how to deal with negative people so you can create more, so that you can be more, so that you can live life on your terms. If that's what you want to do, stay tuned and I'll see you on the other side. So first of all, in today's market, why do we need to learn how to deal with negative people? Because obviously there's a lot of people around, and when you start to create more thoughts, more opportunities, more ideas around the things that you want to do, you've got to be aware of who you share your ideas with. Because if you share your ideas with someone that fundamentally focuses all the wrong things happening, then of course it crushes your ideas. And of course, I'm sure you've heard of the concept of those that you spend time with are those that you become. So if you spend time with more people that are lifting you up, you're going to get quicker to where you want to be. Now, first of all, I want to tell you straight up, I do not judge people for thinking negatively. I do not think it's necessarily bad. You need to have the downside. You need to have the upside too, right? But the thing is, you need to have a balance. You need to know whether you're focused just on the upside, and you want to notice if there is some downside that you also need to take heed of, because in this environment today, most people are either one or the other. So you need a balance. But first of all, how do you deal with negative people? First of all, number one, understand this as a concept, because this is beautiful. Most people say just kick them out, just get them away from you, but you need them around you. You cannot kick all your family out, and you cannot kick yourself out, because we've all had negative thoughts. We all have doubts. We all have self-doubts where we think about the worst things happening. So I'm not here to tell you just kick everyone out, especially if they're family, because you can't just kick all of your family out because they think a different way. Are you ready? Are you paying attention? First of all, understand this principle. Number one, people are not their behaviors. People are not their behaviors. Now, what does that mean? That means that we can be angry, we can be sad, we can be frustrated, we can be excited, we can be happy, we can be different emotions, right? But the emotion is not who we are. As soon as we identify with the fact that some people, for example, identify with depression and believe that they are a depressed person, they are experiencing depression, they are experiencing anger, they are experiencing happiness, but they are not forever that particular emotion. Now, of course, we want to experience more happiness, we want to experience more pleasure, etc. However, we can't always experience that. So when you can learn to accept the fact that we've all been sad, we've all been happy, we've all been extremes of that continuum, then that person is just going through a tough spot right now. And it's that we don't have to take that on board. Does that make sense? Does that make sense in terms of you have to disconnect from judging that person just because they're eliciting a certain behavior. Does that make sense, yeah? Number 2, are you ready? You have to learn to respect everyone's model of the world. Now that means that we all have a construct. We all have a construct of our experiences based on our education, based on our past, based on our beliefs, based on the things that we've done, based on the people that we've spent time with, so that our model is a construct. And this is a concept that Carl Jung talks about a lot, is that we perceive the reality in which is inside of us, which means that, for example, if you see a lot of negativity in the world, then maybe there's some negativity in here too. So you have to start thinking about the fact that I respect each and every single person's model of the world, because if I grow up in London, here in London, I've got a different sort of expectation from life than someone that grew up in Fiji, that grew up in Bali, halfway across, 3/4 across the world. And so therefore, Our models of the world, our experiences, our education, our backgrounds are completely different. Therefore, we will think differently. Therefore, because we think differently, our actions and behaviors tend to be different as well. So it's not judging someone because they have a different model of the world. And if someone is negative, they more often than not, they haven't had an opportunity to start believing more. They haven't had someone come across. If you have a parental negative environment, if you have an educational negative environment, and if you're always linking learning to bad things, then you will fundamentally be more of a pessimistic thinker, and that's what negative thinking is. So again, respecting everyone's model of the world. Number 3, are you ready? Communication is the response that you give. Now, what you give out is what comes back to you. And so that if you're giving out a communication and you're getting a negative feedback, then maybe it's because what you've said has disrupted someone and it's upset them in some sort of way. So therefore you have to understand, when you start understanding what you put out comes back to you. So I remember once I was running this homeless program, and I was talking about concepts around taking responsibility for where you are, and this guy stood up and started having a go at me, and he was very upset with what I was saying, and instantly I took it back that it started from me. So what I was saying was probably too heavy, and I learned to soften it in that moment. We brought the situation into a positive learning for everyone, and you know, he got a lot more out of it. But straight away I took it back to me. If you stand up, like I stand up, I talk to people all over the world. I do presentations, I do live events, sometimes with 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 people in the room, sometimes with a maximum, 7,000, 8,000 in a room, 10,000 once. The reality is, if I put out low energy, then low energy comes back in. If you're a speaker, you know this. If you come out and you're tired and you put out tiredness, then tiredness comes back to you. And this is not a new principle. Aristotle will tell us what you sow is what you reap. And so what you put out comes back to you. What you see in others, you see in yourself. As Gandhi will say, be the change in the world you want to see. Be the change in the world you see, which means take ownership over what you're communicating outside. And then the change can start to occur. So that's a quick session. I hope you liked it. Let's do a little quick recap. Are you ready? People are not their behaviors, number 1. People are not their behaviors. They can be happy, sad. It doesn't define. Just because they're negative right now doesn't mean they'll always be negative. Respect everyone's model of the world. It's a beautiful lesson. If you can appreciate, respect everyone for being different, communication is the response that you get. What you put out comes back to you. What you sow is what you reap. An echo. Life is an echo. What you put out comes back to you. Your life is a reflection of what you put into it. Your business, what you put in comes out the other side. Your relationship, what you put in comes out the other side. Your health, what you put in comes out to you. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Catch up with you soon. Make sure you're always maximizing your learning. Be good out there, be great, be more, create more, so that you can live life on your terms, and I'll see you soon. Cannot be the only gauge, it cannot be the only measure, because we all know lots of people that have loads of money yet are not happy, so that cannot be success. We all know lots of people that have no money